What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you a little bit of what I do to warm up before I play Valorant. If you don't have aim labs, I suggest you get that. That's the first thing that I do. I go to aim labs and it'll run you through a series of kind of like a trial or an exam, and it'll let you know what you're deficient in, and it gives you constant feedback. And trust me, it's going to tell you that you're like one of the worst gamers ever, and you got to ignore that. It's built in to tell you exactly what your flaws are. It's not trying to tell you how good you are, because obviously you're trying to work on your, what you're bad at. You don't want to work on what you're good at. I mean, you don't want to forget it. You don't want to let it lapse. However, you really want to improve on the things that you are not doing correct before you perfect the things that you are. I start with my classic, right? I'll come in, I'll do a practice. I go all the way to the back. This is something I saw from a video. I come all the way to the back here, and I just warm up doing 2 or 3 rounds of headshots to the bots. Now, the frustrating thing about these bots, their head moves when you shoot them, and I don't know if that happens in the actual game itself, but it's good to know that you might have to time, instead of going real quick like that sometimes, like here I could probably do it. If it's further away, I might have to time it where, like that, right? But anyway, it's just, the point is just hit the head. It's just a little bit of a warm up, and this is a lot for your pistol rounds where you want to make sure that you're actually hitting your headshots. After that, I'll pull out the Vandal or the Phantom. I like the Vandal only because it's actually a one-shot headshot, unlike the Phantom, where right here, if I remember right, I might be close enough to where this is a one-shot headshot, yeah, but once we move on to the next thing, it's not going to be a one-shot headshot anymore. So when time is involved, I want to have one-shot headshots, because that's what I'm practicing. I'm practicing my flicking from target to target. So boom, boom. I do the same thing I just did with the pistol round, where I go one by one, and I go back and forth 2 or 3 times. The very next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here. I'm going to do the same exact thing, except I'm going to go from the default area, I guess you could call this. I'm going to go from left to right, right to left, back and forth 3 times. Same thing. Now this is where the headshot gets a little trickier for the classic, because watch, this guy, I probably won't hit the second headshot. Oh, I did. But I've just timed it. See, that one I didn't. So you got to watch the recoil of the head. See how his head goes up? You got to try to predict that. It's always the same, but you just got to try to predict it as well. Now this is what I was talking about with the Phantom in this. You could do this if you want to practice like rapid headfire headshots, but see back there, that won't kill him, right? And I'm just trying to pop these. I'm not trying to stroke my ego with this. I just want new targets to pop up so that I can keep this going, right? So that's why I always do the Vandal, because it's one-shot headshot every time. There, I'm missing. But don't let yourself get frustrated if you miss. You're kind of training that too, right? You're trying to train not to tilt. So like if I hit here, right? Just adjust it real quick and go with it. Just make your little micro adjustment. This isn't a game. Nobody's shooting at you. Right. So the next thing I want to do, I'm going to come in and I'm going to start with eliminating 50. And I'm just going to sit here and eliminate 50 while standing in this spot without moving. Keep that crosshair at head level. That way you're not, every time you point and click, you're going to get a headshot. So a good time to do this, I'm kind of talking, a good time to do this is about 60 to 70 seconds when you're first starting, from my standard. I'm sure like the pros will probably do it in like 50, but as long as you're getting it done in about 1.1 to kill every 1.1 to 1.5 seconds, you're probably doing okay. 3, 2, 1. The very next thing I'm going to do is do it the same exact thing, except I'm going to be strafing while I'm doing this. And I'm practicing all sorts of things. I might take longer to kill during this, but I'm practicing either moving and keeping my crosshair head level, or I'm practicing my counter strafes, right? Where I hit D and then hurry up and hit A, because for that split second, that first bullet's going to be accurate. If I run and I shoot, see how inaccurate that was? But if I hit D and hit A real quick, see that little stopping of my momentum? If I stop it right over his head, it's accurate. See, every now and then I'll try my counter straight. This will take you longer because you're moving, but sometimes it will take you shorter. It depends on if this is better for you, especially if you're not practicing your jiggle peeks and your counter strafes as much. You'll probably do this faster, but I tend to do it longer. I tend to do it slower. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to medium. And the reason I brought up aim labs earlier is because if you do aim labs and you do a lot of the precision and the flicking training that they do, this will seem very fast. Medium seems very fast to me. I'm not a guy who can do hard, but medium seemed very, very quick to me. And then after I did aim labs, it seemed like it was an eternity. Aim labs really helped me a lot. But so what we're going to do is we're going to do medium, and we're going to start, and we're not going to move with this one. We're just going to stay here, and we're just going to practice flicking. Okay, so you click start, and you get your mouse immediately ready to start flicking. Now that you want to do one-shot headshots, right? And the key is if you're missing, like I keep undershooting. If you're undershooting, notice that. Say, okay, this is what I keep doing. See, that time I overshot, so I was compensating. I can't get that one. And the key here is, as long as you're getting, 15 to 20. As long as you're getting 15 to 20, you're probably ready to start thinking about, okay, let's move on. If you're getting 10, if you're getting 10 to 15, you might want to keep practicing it a little bit. I always try to do 2. But like if you look at easy, if you need to start with easy, that's fine. You need to start wherever it is that you're going to be able to get 15 to 20. That's what I've found. And I'm not the greatest aimer, but getting 15 to 20 is kind of where I feel like, okay, I'm pretty warmed up. After you've done that, the next thing you want to do is practice your peeking. So I always pick Sage when I'm doing this, so that I can use her wall. So I'm going to put a wall right here, and I'm going to pick one guy, so that guy right there. I'm going to try to jiggle peek him, right? Then I'm going to pick another guy. I'm going to go, okay. Then pick him. And what you really want to do is you want to get to the point where you're not looking at a guy and saying, okay, that's the guy I'm picking. You want to get to a point where you're actually kind of seeing a guy and then going right after him. So one last thing I'll do is I'll get my cursor at head level, and then I'll turn around and I'll run down the hall. I can't run too far because the bots will actually disappear if I'm going too long or go too far. I don't know if it's distance or if it's time. But anyway, I'm going to come back around here, and I'm going to see if my cursor's still head level. See, I'm a little high. So I'm going to remember that. I'm going to go, okay, I was a little high that time. Cursor head level. Double check. All right. Now you run down and you try to keep your cursor at head level. So, okay, so I'm going to turn around. I'm going to keep it there. And I think I might have been a little high and instinctively corrected that. There's a chain in the incline. So that's a good way to check and say, okay, I'm still on head level. Because I have a bad problem of, I'll come around a corner and I'll go, oh man, why was it? I thought I was at head level, but I wasn't. I was at.
Alright everybody, thank you for watching that video. This was my warm-up for aiming. Another thing I'll do to warm up before I go into a game if I'm not feeling quite ready, I'll go into the spike, diffuse, and spike plant scenarios and try to run a couple scenarios in there. And just practice my peeking, because the bots will one-shot headshot you on hard. And I'll do that, and then I'll probably get into a spike rush or an unrated game before I play comp. This video was done a while ago, but I think all the stuff still applies to the range. So that's where 99% of my warm-up is done, is in the range. Not much I played a couple days ago, so not much has changed. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully this helps you a little bit. It really helped me with my aim, and have a good one. Thanks. See you. AWOL out.